There was a man sitting in his truck in the parking lot of a job he had just been fired from, and he didn't drive home. He just sat there, engine off, windows fogging up. And in that silence, something inside him finally broke, not in the way that destroys a person, but in the way that a seed breaks open right before it becomes a tree. This is a story about that moment, that exact moment when everything falls apart and you don't know it yet. But that is the moment your life actually begins. Most people will never talk about this part. They'll show you the highlight reel, the trophy, the promotion, the comeback moment caught on camera. But nobody shows you the parking lot. Nobody shows you the 3 a.m. Nobody shows you the version of themselves that almost didn't make it. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I need you to stay with me all the way to the end, because what I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes has the power to completely change the way you see your life. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, in this moment, wherever you are watching this. And before we go any further, if this is the kind of content that you need in your life, the kind that doesn't sugarcoat things, the kind that actually talks to you like a real person and not a self-help pamphlet, hit that subscribe button right now. Because we do this every single week and I don't want you to miss a single one. Hit subscribe and let's get into this together. So back to the man in the truck. His name doesn't matter. What matters is that you probably know him. You might even be him right now. He had done everything right, or at least everything he was told was right. Went to school, got the degree, took the stable job, kept his head down, worked hard, and then one Tuesday morning, his manager called him into the office, and in under 4 minutes, everything he had built his identity around was gone. Just like that. No warning, no ceremony, just a box of his belongings on the passenger seat and a parking lot he didn't know how to leave. He sat there for 45 minutes, not crying, not angry, just empty. And in that emptiness, a thought crept in. The most dangerous kind of thought a person can have. He thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is who I am. Maybe I'm not the person I always believed I was. Maybe I've been fooling myself all along. And here is where the story gets important. Because that thought, that quiet, creeping, devastating thought, is not unique to him. The only difference between the people who go on to do something extraordinary and the people who stay stuck is not talent, not luck, not connections. It is what they do in that moment. It is what they decide when that thought shows up. That man in the truck eventually started the engine. He didn't know where he was going. He didn't have a plan, but he started the engine. And that small act, that one tiny stubborn refusal to stay parked, changed everything that came after. Now, I want you to think about something for a moment. There's a story that most people have heard about NASCAR drivers, about what happens when there's a crash ahead of them on the track. They're going 150, 160, sometimes 180 miles per hour, and suddenly the car in front of them spins out and the entire track disappears into a cloud of smoke. They cannot see what's on the other side. There could be wreckage directly in their path. There could be fire. There could be a wall. And what the greatest drivers in the world have said, the ones who've been in those moments and come out the other side, is that you cannot flinch. You cannot slow down. You cannot close your eyes and hope for the best. You have to keep your eyes forward and drive straight through it, trusting that when you come out on the other side, you will be okay. That is one of the most honest descriptions of what it feels like to chase something real that I have ever heard. Because life will throw smoke at you. Situations will arise where you genuinely cannot see the road ahead, where everything around you is chaos and noise and fear, and the logical, rational, scared part of your brain is screaming at you to stop, to pull over, to wait it out, to play it safe. And the bravest thing you will ever do is keep driving. Keep moving forward when you can't see the other side. Because here's the truth that nobody tells you about fear. Fear is not a signal to stop. Fear is a signal that something matters. Fear means you're close to something real. The things that scare you the most are almost always the things most worth doing. And the people who have built lives worth living, real lives, not the performed version of life you see on social media, they didn't do it by running from what scared them. They did it by walking straight toward it with their heart hammering in their chest and their hands shaking and their voice a little unsteady, and they did it anyway. Think about the last time you ran from something, not physically, emotionally. The conversation you didn't have, the risk you didn't take, the dream you pushed to the side because the timing wasn't right or the fear was too loud or someone in your life made you feel small for even thinking about it. How did that feel? Nobody had asked him that in years. Nobody had looked him in the eye and asked what he actually wanted, and he didn't have an answer right away. But something cracked open in him in that moment, something that had been sealed up for a very long time, and he started to remember. He started to remember who he was before he got so afraid, before life got so heavy, before the mortgage and the routine and the slow, quiet fading of everything he used to dream about. That is where real change begins. Not in the seminar, not in the journal entry, not in the motivational video, though all of those things can help. Real change begins in the moment of honest reckoning, the moment you stop pretending, the moment you stop performing, the moment you stop telling the story that keeps you comfortable and start telling the truth that sets you free. And I want to be real with you right now. I want to be honest in a way that I think a lot of people are afraid to be, because they're worried it won't sound motivational enough. Here it is. Change is not going to happen overnight. I know you've heard that before, but I need you to actually feel what that means. Because we live in a world that is addicted to instant results. We want the transformation montage without the training. We want the harvest without the planting season. And that's not how any of this works. That radical shift you're looking for in your confidence, in your momentum, in your life, it requires you to show up every single day and choose who you want to be, even on the days when it feels pointless, especially on those days. Because here's what happens when you commit to that daily practice of choosing courage over comfort. The first day is hard, the second day is hard, the third day is hard, but somewhere in there, and you won't see it coming, you won't be able to pinpoint the exact moment, something shifts. The voice that used to tell you that you weren't enough starts to get a little quieter. The fear that used to feel like a wall starts to feel like a door, and you start to realize that you were never as trapped as you thought you were. You were just standing still. Now I want to talk about something that I believe is the single most underrated quality a person can possess, and that is the ability to bounce back. Not just survive difficulty, bounce back from it. Because here's what I've seen, and I think if you're honest with yourself, you've seen it too. It's almost never the people who had the smoothest road who end up doing the most remarkable things. It's the ones who had the hardest falls. And here's something I want you to really sit with. Your greatest strength is not somewhere in your future. It's not waiting for you on the other side of a goal or a milestone or a breakthrough. Your greatest strength is being built right now, in the middle of whatever you're going through. Every hard thing you face and refuse to run from is adding something to you. Every time you get knocked down and choose to get back up, you become more of who you're supposed to be. Not despite the difficulty, because of it. The man in the truck, I want to tell you where he ended up because this part matters. He spent the next 6 months in the most uncomfortable season of his entire life. He tried things that failed. He had conversations that were humbling. He had nights where the doubt was so loud he could barely sleep. But he kept starting the engine. Every single day he started the engine. And 14 months after that Tuesday morning in the parking lot, he was running a business he had built from scratch, doing work that actually meant something to him, earning more than he ever had at the job that let him go. And more importantly, feeling alive in a way he hadn't felt since he was a kid. Tell me where you are right now. Tell me what you're going through or what you're fighting for. Tell me what your parking lot looks like. Because I read every single comment, and what you'll find when you do that is something powerful. You'll realize you're not alone in this. There are people watching this right now who are in the exact same moment you are. Share this video with someone who needs it. Be the person who hands someone the thing they needed to hear today. You never know how much that matters. You have to believe in yourself. Not the vague, passive, wishful kind of believing, the active, stubborn, relentless kind. The kind that says, even when I can't see the other side of the smoke, I am going to drive through. The kind that says, even when the fear is loud, it doesn't get a vote. The kind that says, start the engine, drive through the smoke, and trust with everything you have that what's waiting for you on the other side is worth every single second of the fear it takes to get there.